Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Italy, a place to love YouTube channel. Okay, in today's episode, we are going to explore the cheapest properties for sale in a town called Bosa. Now, as far as you can see here, we are on Google Maps. So we have this town called Bosa, and the town is divided in two parts. Okay, one is Bosa and another one is Bosa Marina. So basically, a lot of towns in Italy, in particular the towns on the coast, have an old part of the town in the inland. Let me say maybe 1 kilometers. Here, I think the distance is maximum 2 kilometers, and then we have a newer part that is close on the sea, and this is the touristic area. So we are going to investigate today about this town called Bosa, and we are for the first time in this type of videos. For the first time, we are in Sardinia region. Now, let's talk about a bit about Sardinia. Sardinia is an island, is one of the two main islands in Italy. In Italy, is well known to have, we have Sicily and we have Sardinia. These two islands, anyway, are regions themselves, like Sardinia region and Sicily is also a region. Then obviously there are so many islands in Italy, but these are the main two. Now, I really love Sardinia personally, even if I never been here, and I hope I will have the chance to visit sooner or later because it's a place that I really love. I don't know. I feel like Sardinia. I feel Sardinian people very friendly. It's a beautiful place. So there are so many reasons why Sardinia. Now let's investigate a bit more where Bosa is in Sardinia Island. Let me zoom out a bit. So anyway, here we are on the western coast of Sardinia Island in the middle, let me say, in the northern, let's see, kind of in the middle of Sardinia region. As you can see, Bosa is here. Okay. So it's a well-known and is a very touristic area. For example, okay, we have Alghero, that is a very another very touristic area. Sassari is a province. I think I don't know how many provinces exactly there are in Sardinia. All I know is that for sure Nuoro, Sassari, Oristano, and Cagliari. I don't know about Olbia if it's a province, but anyway, this is the island itself. So as we can see, we are on the western coast of Sardinia Island. Actually, this area here, the area of Alghero, is well known because in Sardinia they speak Sardinian language. They have Sardinian language officially in school. They study Italian, but anyway, they are mother tongue Sardinians. But in this part of Sardinia is particular because they are well. It's well known that they are speaking Catalan. Now, Catalan is the language spoken in Barcelona, so means that the trades, the history brings it a lot from the Spanish eastern coast of Spain that we can see here on the top left of the screen. We see Barcelona. Anyway, historically, always there have been a lot of trades between this area of Sardinia and Spain, Barcelona. That's it about Bosa geographically. Now let's go and let's read a bit of Bosa, what it says. So it's an Italian council of 7,396 inhabitants and is in Oristano province. Now let me go back 1 second. Alghero. Anyway, Oristano is there are a few provinces here when I will do the videos about Sardinia and we'll investigate and we'll find out all the provinces. Okay, is in Oristano, uh, on the coast. Anyway, on the western coast. What else I can say? Nothing. All I said already is what they're saying here. The altitude anyway is very low. It's 2 meters above the sea level, simply because anyway it's a town on the coast, very touristic, and these are the inhabitants, nearly 8,000. Now, Sardinia, for example, for people who don't know, it's well known to not be affected by earthquakes at all. So, mainly, we have two regions in Italy that have the lowest um, seismicity level, and one is Apulia, let me say the Salento, and another one the very bottom of the hill in Apulia region, and Sardinia are well known to not have at all earthquakes. So there are like no historical records about. Then it's a town full of history. There's a lot to see. It's well known for the beaches. Anyway, it's well renowned for the beautiful beaches, but all Sardinia is simply amazing. Now, I remember my parents long time ago, they went on holiday here. They always said that they would have relocated easily if they only could. And so let's go back now. Let's go on Idealista and let's start searching for the properties for sale. Now, Bosa Oristano Municipality. Let's start searching. Okay, now we do as usual. We are going to avoid the auction, but let me say, no, I will make another video about the auctions. Now I just want to show you quickly. I go lowest price. For sure, the lowest price is gonna be a property that is under an auction. Let me see. I don't see here. No, I don't see, for example, in this town, properties under an auction. They would appear straight away because generally they are the cheapest property for sale. Okay, so we set up lowest price. So we have 132 houses and flats on sale. So I'm gonna keep both houses and flats. Simply because anyway it's a very touristic area. If the goal, for example, is to buy a property in this location as an investment, also a flat can be a very good investment anyway. Not only doesn't have to be necessarily a house. Anyway, now I will avoid the auctions. I'm going to exclude auctions properties, and let me see. We have 129, so probably there were two properties. And let's start. Let's start this adventure and let's investigate together. As usual, I don't check before simply because I want to do it with you here. It's like we are doing together for the first time. Now I see a duplex in Via Malaspina, 3 rooms, 125 meters square, mezzanine without lift. Let's see the picture. Now there are a lot of pictures. The house itself. Okay. Now the price is very good. Now I want to enter into the property. I want to read shortly the description because anyway, for 125 square meters, 40,000 euro is a very good value. I want to see if they're selling it, for example, needs renovating. Okay, in the basic features, straight away it says that property is in need of renovating. Now the property is quite old, was built in 1800. No heating, common thing, for the houses in the south of Italy. Oh, for example, I want to see here on Google Maps, because generally on Google Maps it says the temperature. that is in this moment in Bosa. So, for example, now it's 11 a.m. and the temperature is of 21 degrees, and we are in the beginning of November, so today is the 5th of November. Temperature is still very nice and mild, 21 degrees. Maybe at night might drop to 15, 14, anyway. But generally, they still, old houses were built without heating system. But let's see, let's investigate a bit the pictures. Okay, so it seems like it's an old house for sale. Now, this road here doesn't look very in a very good condition. Uh, let's see. I would like to understand, for example, in which, but let's see the pictures. Okay, so I think we are in the central part of Bosa. Okay, here we have a bedroom. I see the house needs some sort of renovation. Floor is not the best. It's nothing really special. It looks quite old. Um, Let me see. For example, in this room, it depends. Anyway, it depends because if the property is bought as an investment, it could be just renewed with the minimum standards required just to set up a business, for example. Um, so here we have a little balcony. So this is probably the house. Wasn't very clear from the pictures before which house. So this one here with the brownish part at the bottom of the building. Let me see. Yes. So basically, is this one. Let me see. So I saw for now two bedrooms. Now they keep repeating. It doesn't look like there is the chance to park the car. It should be seen where is the nearest parking space. Parking space. Lovely stairs. For example, here I like this kind of not really spiral stairs, but similar. So it's on different floors, different level. Now we go back again. So here probably we are on the top in the attic. These are the type of old kitchen. I remember one of my grandmother having a similar kitchen, typical kitchen of the 50s and 60s. So the house is in need of some certain kind of works, let me say. Now they keep repeating the picture. I see two bedrooms, I see the stairs, I see the kitchen. I don't like this type of ceiling personally. I don't know why they were making this type of ceiling back in those days. Anyway, here we have a kitchen. I see the floor is a bit different. Um, anyway, what do I see is it looks like there are three rooms, one on top of another one. No pictures of the bathroom, for example. There are little balconies. So there are so many pictures, but okay, here we have a picture of the bathroom. Bathroom looks a bit old, so is in need of some works. Anyway, so we have four floor. So we have the ground floor where there is the kitchen. So then we have a kind of basement, and the toilet is in the basement. No, let me say, okay, should be totally renovated, and even the bathroom should be moved. So we saw this house, it's not bad, but anyway, if you want to make it a nice house, is in need of anyway renovation and needs to be invested a certain amount of money. Now, terraced house in Via Bulvaris, 49,000. in the old town, in an area with easy access and few steps from all the amenities and parking area, at approximately 2 kilometers from the sea, probably. Let's enter because this anyway 49,000 euro looks interesting. I want to see the basic features. Needs renovating. Also this one. Also this one. It says was built in 1800. Terraced house, 5 floors. Let's see the pictures. Let's see. Anyway, the town itself, with this castle, with the view of the castle, is very, very nice. I like it. So I can already see that there is a terrace. Okay, similar construction, kind of narrow home on different levels. But, for example, by this picture, by what I see, okay, it's an unusual room. So, for example, this could be just a hall. Here, this door may lead you to the basement. Let's see, let's investigate a bit more. I want to see the picture from outside. So I see windows from outside. Basically, this is one of the windows. Because the house is quite narrow, I don't know how the spaces are sorted. This looks, I don't know if it's the kitchen or the bathroom. Okay, it's in the central part of Bosa, so narrow roads. I don't know if it's possible. Then what I noticed, you see these bars here. Now these bars, they were put probably when the house had the last restoration. Probably it's typical to see this type of bars in the old houses when they've been renovated, and probably the house was falling apart. And it doesn't mean that the house itself now is falling, because these actually are very solid things. They help the structure to stay up. I noticed in many towns in Italy. Okay, so for example, here is the same picture as we've seen before. Let me go back. I want to understand by the floor. The floor here is a bit bluish. Let me see. Let me go back here. No, you see, this is another floor. Where are they leading? Now, it's interesting. It's interesting. Maybe it's in need of renovation simply because the house is not being divided properly. Anyway, here I see the kitchen. Here I can sneak the bathroom. Because the house itself is not in a bad condition, but if I have a bedroom with stairs leading to the bedroom and then other stairs from this door that are leading to another room, it's not nice. It's not nice. It's something that I never liked. I remember when I went to see properties, and practically you to go in one room, you had to enter in one bedroom, and so while you have people sleeping, no, 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 no. That's why it's an old concept of a house. I see that had been done some works. It's a pity that these works had been done just maybe in the style, not in a proper way. I see a lovely terrace, probably here, probably this is the last floor, and this leads to the terrace, this door here. Anyway, we have no eating in this house too. Anyway, it's a lovely terrace with a lovely view, very close to the sea. I see a bit complicated in case this probably is a cellar, is a basement. Okay, this wasn't leading to the terrace, but this is a small bedroom, a small bathroom, sorry, small toilet. Mm, Property itself is not bad, but should be absolutely renovated and put in a way that can be, because I see piano terra, ground floor, kitchen and bathroom, then first floor, bedroom, Then from the bedroom, you are leading to the second floor with another bedroom. And then you are leading to the third floor. So now the first, we have one bathroom on the ground, one bathroom on the third floor, first and second. For example, I would do here, I would keep kitchen, bathroom on the ground floor, but the space is quite small anyway. Then here I would make a living room, for example, and then I would arrange one bedroom on the second floor, another bedroom to the third floor. And but again, the bedroom on the second floor can use the bathroom on the ground. The bedroom on the third floor, let me say, I won't see myself, for example, living in this type of house. There's no balcony, but it has its meaning. It has its meaning, this house, because again, it's an old concept of a house. Now, it's a pity I wasted a bit of time looking at this property. So no heating as well, this house. Okay, let's go back and see what's next. So we saw these two houses. Here we have in a new building, 3-room flat. Let's have a quick look here to this flat. So apartment building to renovate. Okay, let's see. But let me say, it depends. I would renovate, obviously, if I decide to live here. I would go for a full renovation. Again, it's an apartment on the sea. I might see more the potential to rent it out as an investment, but by what I see, for example, okay, let's look at the pictures because it's an interesting anyway apartment. It's not a very big building, so I can already see that it's safe because everyone is leaving the bikes outside the house without locks. So I'd say, um, let me say that it's a typical house, Italian house. I see the space. I see that it's a 77-meter square and 3 rooms, second floor without lift. Okay, for a second floor, it's not necessary. Anyway, what do I notice are okay, the frames of the windows are quite old, the doors are a bit old, floor, nothing special. Let me say that here I would see more. But anyway, bathroom, also the bathroom is in need of some works. Okay, it needs the kitchen also needs to be properly made. So uh, we have probably two balconies. The property itself is not bad. What I notice is the rooms are not very big. Floor has to be done. I see it's not really properly even. Uh, the frames of the windows are not really in a perfect shape. Here you might have a small cellar. We used to have little deposit where you can storage some belongings. Now let's see. Here we have the stairs leading to the apartment. Here we have the entrance. So we have two bedrooms. Here, one on the left, one on the right. Bathroom, kitchen. Okay, we have one balcony, but anyway, I know two balconies on these two sides. This is a small terrace and this is a balcony. Here we have the living room, kitchen. The apartment itself is not that bad. 58,000 euro. I'd say here you need to put another 50,000 to make it. Let me say, if you want to rent it out, then people generally, I know foreigners who are coming to live in Italy, they don't want to live in this type of apartment. While Italians, for example, they would rather go for this type of apartments. Italian people love apartments more than houses. They see cheaper to run, while, for example, a house is seen more expensive to run. So, anyway, let's go to the next one. Detached house in Vico Senza Passo, 60,000 60,000 euro, 4 rooms. Let me say, is in perfect conditions. Okay, this, let's enter and let's see, for example, if this can be a good investment. Then again, I will never stop repeating that in Italy, unfortunately, there's not, in particular in the old towns, the townhouses don't have gardens. It's very, very rare to find in the townhouses houses with a garden, for example. Let me read. Bosa, Via del Carmine, characteristic ground floor house. So it's a ground floor house in perfect condition, comprising ground floor entrance hall, kitchen and bathroom. Then first floor, two bedrooms and a bathroom. Second floor, a bedroom. Third floor, from attic room and terrace. So the house is developed on a ground floor, first floor, second floor, and a third floor with attic. So it's a kind of townhouse, detached house, no heating, but the house it says is in a good condition. Two bathrooms, that is a plus. Then we have a terrace. Let's go and let's see the pictures of this house. Okay, let's see which one, because for example, now I see that this is the main door. Okay, here for example, wow, it's interesting to find a kind of piece of art on the wall with a virgin. Now here for example, I don't see the frame of the window. Why? If they say the house is in a good condition. So anyway, floor, straight away as soon as I open. Okay, now it's a bit particular, but as far as I understand, all these old houses in because this is already the third house, one apartment we saw, this is the third house, and we see they all have the same structure. They're a bit narrow, they have small rooms, and they have one room leading to another one. So they are built on different levels, different floors. Spaces are not very big, bit narrow. For example, here you enter from the main entrance door. Straight away, you have this space that is not really big. Okay, this piece of furniture here, get out of it, get out, because it's only taking space. I don't see the point to keep them such a big looks like a wardrobe, something like that. What's the point to keep it here? But this it has the potential, for example, to be rented out. Then this door and okay, probably it's probably leading. They said before that that is bathroom. Okay. Now we start figuring out a bit better. So there is a kind of space. We enter. Then there is the kitchen. Here we have living room and dining room. The floor looks quite new. The door, the main entrance door looks new. Kitchen is a bit old. Anyway, okay, this looks like with the fridge here, looks like another part of the kitchen. Now the table, I see the table here. Then I see looks like a couch here, but a sofa. Okay, I don't I cannot really understand, for example, because what I see here, let me go back a bit. Okay. So this reddish thing here is a couch. I see the frames on the wall. So basically these are the same frames. So the picture was taken from the kind of entrance hall with that kitchen. Okay. Okay, so I don't know. There is another kitchen here without hobs. I don't know what they were using this for. Anyway, the bathroom is in a good condition. So this is the bathroom on the ground floor. So then here we are leading to one room. This could be already a bedroom. Anyway, it was used as a kind of living room. Okay, then on this floor we have another bedroom with kind of ensuite bathroom. That's not bad. Condition for me, this house 60,000 euro, 98 square meters. It has the potential to be rented out, to be honest. Obviously, you don't need heating if it's an investment. If this property is for an investment, you don't need heating because you're gonna rent it out only for the good season. Let me say, you might start renting here from March, April till the end of October, and you might not need of heating system unless, for example, you can put an air conditioner that is also heater, that is also inverter. I don't know, correct me if it's wrong. In Italy we call it inverter when the air conditioner can be turned into an heating system. It's also called an inverter. So here we have another bedroom. The rooms are quite small, but again, what do I see? Okay, this is the last floor. That was the second floor, first floor. Here is probably leading on a terrace. That is nice. I'd say that this has the potential to be rented. For example, okay, what do we have here? Here we have the main entrance on the ground floor. With a kind of hole where they put this kitchen. Then also I would make the kitchen just here and this leave it a bit empty, like just a hole. Then we have a bathroom. Then we are leading to the first floor that is here. And while we enter, we have a room. So anyway, the good thing is that, for example, the stairs that are leading to the next floors are separate from the room themselves. So, for example, on the first floor, we find two bedrooms, one bedroom here, one bedroom here. Obviously, to enter in this bedroom, you have to enter in one bedroom first. But this, I would shape it, for example, in another way. I would make, if the doors are separate, for example, this could be rented to someone, and then you should figure out if the other parts of the house can be rented, for example, in other way, um, to other people. Let me say, to accommodate two different groups, two different couples. Let me say, um, okay, but unless the second floor is using only the toilet on the ground floor and who is on the first floor, but the house itself is not bad. The condition is not really bad. Okay, by what I seen, ready to move in, complete with furniture, third floor from attic, room and terrace, complete with furniture, ready to move in. I would rent it out. I'm sure I can make it a good return here because, again, Bosa is a very touristic area in Sardinia. It's actually well known for the pink beaches. So there are pink beaches. Then let me see here. What do we have in the characteristic historical center of Bosa? Now there are many properties. 200 meters from the cathedral. I see is in a good shape. This house, 63,000. Three rooms, 50 meters square. But this, for example, is perfect to rent. Wow. Sorry if I said wow, but I see this house as a very good investment. Could be, for example, Italian could buy themselves this as a holiday home. So not where you live all the year around, but just when you're going on holiday. Anyway, I see the kitchen is new, floor is new, um, everything is in a good shape. Let me say nothing wrong with it. We have a small terrace that can also be covered. Here there is a sort of veranda that with a light, with a shelter before the entrance. Anyway, doesn't look bad. This terrace with view on the hills. It's very interesting. I like it. I like this type of house. Um, for example, you may say, okay, there's no heating system, but they all have electric hot water, a boiler that is working with electricity that gives you hot water. I like the roof. It's completely new. I see the roof is just new made. Then here we have a door leading probably to the terrace. This could be a perfect investment, let me say. And then here we have another bedroom. You can accommodate up to three, four people. The roof is new. That's what is important. Then we have these leading stairs. That's very, very interesting because give you separate separate spaces. Okay. Now here probably first floor. Okay, this is only one floor. So um, looks like kitchen living room, one bedroom, another bedroom, bathroom, and a terrace. Let me say these can be the perfect investment. For example, let me see where they're showing on the map. Is in the old part of the town. Here there is the castle, so probably you even have the view of the castle. It's not bad. It's not bad, this type of house. Let me read a bit the description. In the characteristic historical center of Bosa, in a small period building 200 meters from the cathedral and the castle, furnished apartment in perfect condition, consisting of living room, two bedrooms, bathroom, and terrace, bright, silent, and so um, I think it's just one floor. So second hand, good condition, heating, air, individual heating, air. So there is the air conditioning heat pump, that what I call it inverter. So it's a first floor. Then I want to see again the picture because so from the main entrance, let me see 1 second because I saw the pictures with the stairs, but now I don't understand. If the saying is a first floor without lift and the roof is like this, where are these stairs leading? I find a bit hard to understand now because I see the roof could be the last floor then of the building. First floor without lift. Again, how many floors it looks like. Here we have a ground floor and then looks like there are two floors here, but okay, anyway, it's an interesting property. This should be seen. Uh, Let me say, in a small period bill, a furnished apartment in perfect condition consisting of living room, two bedrooms, bathroom, and terrace. Bright, silent. Okay, anyway, let's go back to the properties. Let's investigate more. So now we saw not many properties this in this video. I wish I could have seen more, but because they're all, I found them all interesting according to the price, according to the location, according to how touristic is this place. All these houses, they look quite interesting. Again, maybe not the perfect houses where to live, but the perfect investment, yes. And again, I like Sardinia. Bosa in one of the typical cobbled streets of the old town with easy access by car at short distance from all the amenities and car park. Let's That's another interesting house, for example. It looks from outside, it looks well kept. Inside is not really, let me say, in a brand new style, but for example, here I see, okay, let me see if they consider that may be in need of renovation. I'm entering just to check. I like, for example, this type of passage here from the road that probably is leading. Again, we are talking about first floor, second floor, and third floor. Looks like there is enough space. Let's have a look to the pictures. It's interesting. Obviously, the furniture is old. For example, here, these type of passages from one street to another are very typical of the old towns. I like this road, for example, looks like one of the main road of the historical part of Bosa, with this type of pavements, stones, typical of the old towns. Anyway, this is an interesting. I don't know. There's a problem here with the ceiling. I don't know if it only need to be refreshed the decoration, to repainted, or there could be a leakage. I don't know. For example, here we see on the wall there is an issue. Uh, Obviously, the house looks like has been renovated more from outside than from inside. The bathroom here looks a bit old. It looks like a 40, maybe 50 years old bathroom. It might be in need of. The shape of the house itself is nice. This type of cave kitchen, particular. I see anyway. There are works to do. Some things were done, some things were not. The floors are nice. This wallpaper, get rid. Look at all this television. Oh gosh, looks like the time stopped in 1975 here. Wow, wow. I like they put the coffee machine here on the table, maybe to make it a bit more stylish. I like the efforts anyway they put to make it nice. The floor here, it's very old. This type of cake kitchen has its own style. Oh, I see this type of old plugs that are kind of criminal nowadays. So the very old lamps, all the wires are up, but the wires out from the wall, I mean, if they're done properly, it's fine. They don't have to be really, okay, these wires falling from the sky. This probably was put when they've done the renovation from outside. I see very thick walls. The old structure, anyway, the house itself, particular, for example, this kitchen obviously is not bright at all. You need to turn on the light. I don't know. I would use this space. Is in need of renovation. This house now. It's a pity that I spent some time. Anyway, here it's particular. It's a particular house. I see two bathrooms. Anyway, there are different floors. Let me see one second. Okay, needs renovating. Bosa, we offer for sale this old stone house with character on four levels to be fully restored. The house has an entrance, kitchen, and toilet on the ground floor. On the first floor, there is a large living room with a small bedroom and a further internal room which could be easily connected to the living room by opening the existing arch. On the second floor, a large double bedroom with closet and two alcoves. I like alcoves. Um, on the top floor, we have a hallway, two bedrooms, and a bathroom. The house needs a complete renovation and urgent works. Okay, so a bit costly, a bit expensive, but the location is extremely good. Has to be invested a good amount of money. Now, oh, let me see this one for 68,000 euro, for example, that looks elegantly renovated. For example, now you see that with the previous one, 65,000 euro and has to be completely renovated. This one here for 68,000, it say elegantly renovated. So I guess could be typical of this town to have narrow houses, but again, we are in the central area, in the central part. Generally, Vittorio Emanuele II, when their names are named, when the roads are named with Vittorio Emanuele, means they are one of the main roads. 68,000 euros, 75 square meters, two room, first floor without lift. In Bosa, in an historic building with restored facade, elegantly renovated and furnished apartment consisting of entrance hall, large living room with kitchenette, hallway, a bedroom and a bathroom. So it's not very big. This I'm wondering how many floors. Second hand, good condition. First floor. Let's see the pictures because anyway, it's an interesting house. I like the way it looks from outside. I'm curious. Nice. This is the perfect investment. 68,000 euro ready to be rented out. I mean, the kitchen, they're selling with furniture. So basically, we saw the one before for 65 in total need of renovation. And then we see this one, similar position for 68,000, where you don't need to do anything technically with lights, with lamps, with new kitchen, dining table. Okay, nothing special, but floor is in good standard. This is a perfect investment for the amount of money they're asking. Kind of bedroom. This is a bedroom because you can. These are sofa beds. Not too bad. One bathroom. They even pick colors. One room blue, one room yellowish. Lovely shower. I'd say this type of house is the house. Okay, this room looks like doesn't have, for example, a window. This is something that you can compromise anyway. If it is investment, obviously, again, to live here, two washing machines or maybe one is a dryer. I think was already this was already a kind of B&B. Looks like. Anyway, let's see the floor map. All right, we have Vano here. So we have the main entrance that is here. So the apartment is not very big. True. The other one was much bigger, but in total need of renovation. Then here we don't have windows. We have only one window here. This can be a perfect investment. I would offer 60,000 and this can give you a very good return, yearly return. 60,000 euro if I make 10,000 euro a year by renting out this property. I have to make the calculations, one video to explain how to make the proper calculation about making profit from a letting property, from a property that can be rented out. Okay, anyway, it's a nice apartment. It's a flat. It's not really a house. It's one floor, but in the central area, easy to rent it out. Wait, what happened here? Then, okay, let me see this property here. 3 room flat. It's a flat, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Look, you are living in the main square here of Bosa. Uh, I should make, for example, a video. If someone is asking, I can make a video just about houses in Bosa, but houses out from the town. For example, if someone is interested and wants to see the properties, I can just focus on properties that are not in the central part because, again, when we are talking about the central part of the town, we are talking about townhouses with no garden at all. So property that can be, I might find a bit hard to live unless you have a job there, for example, or unless you are a remote worker, you want to live in the heart of the town and at the same time being in a not walking but bicycle distance from the beaches. This can be the perfect location. Look, for example, to have this view from your balcony is one of the best views you can have in Italy. Believe me, when you have this type of view, or you have a view, for example, but again, you can also see a bit of the hills here. Generally, the views for me that you might desire, you might wish from a property is or to have a view just on a beautiful valley, and that's what I like. But I like these three options: or to have a view on a beautiful valley, or to have a view on a beautiful square like this, where then you may see there's even an open market. So you see life, and that's nice. You open your balcony and you see there's a cafe restaurant just here. So you are seeing the town life. Or, for example, you might have access from your balcony or your window to a very old construction, like an old church, old castle. So these type of views for me. Then when I see just a generic view, can be if I'm looking at only at other houses. I mean, I want, and then I can't see anything else. But for example, that from here I can still see the hills. I can see the main square. Okay, let me. This is again another perfect investment. But this I can also see as a house to live. Brand new ceiling, brand new, all wooden. Kitchen is not really brand new, but it looks fine. Cotto. I see a very old floor that is nice they kept. Even if they renovated the property, they kept the old pavement, the old floor. That's very important. Always keep the old floor if it's nice. You might just repolish, you might call a company who is coming and they just do that as a job. But I see a lovely room. These leading stairs to the next floor are not maybe the best, they are not the safest, but in many houses you have this type of um, then bathroom is not brand new, maybe better to have a shower. For example, this bath is not very useful. Uh, but for example, now let me see if this is the same view. No, this is another door that gives access to the little balcony. Apartment is nice. Now, let me just have a quick look to the following properties and then better I'm gonna close the video because I think I'm probably reached 1 hour. So that was the property for 69,000, 3 room flat in Via Montenegro. Then we have 3 room flat. Let's have a quick look. Nice flats. Italian people are living in this type of flats, so nothing wrong with the Italian standards. They are all living in this type of flats. Here we have another flat in a nice building, well kept, air conditioning a bit old, I saw. Anyway, the view is not bad. They are not showing. This is the common stairs. Apartment is not very bad. This could also be another investment or could also be the place for a family to live. I think this the market for this type of house is more a family to live. The typical Italian family who might buy this might completely renovate it, removing this type of floors. For example, I would keep. Personally, I won't change this type of floor. But the wallpaper, yes, get rid of all the old paper, the wallpaper. Anyway, they need some works, obviously. Anyway, then here we have another detached house, 3 rooms. So basically, we reach 75,000 euro. Oh, here I see a lovely terrace. Let me just enter in this picture, in this property, because I like this type of terraces where you can spend most of the time in the summer. I see having lovely dinners because if it's covered, if the terrace is covered as far as I can see here, gives you shade, gives you privacy. It's as far as I can see, so the roof is new. Is a 3 room flat for sale. Kitchen, nothing wrong with it. Actually, I like when it's wall made here, the kitchen and the storages. These cabinets are built in the wall, in this wall structure with bricks, let me say. There is this lovely terrace. This is a very lovely terrace. I saw they kept some old style, so they've renovated this property. I see rooms, frame doors, leading stairs, a bathroom that is in a good shape. Again, another good investment. I see in this property another good investment. I see many rooms. It's interesting. I see many rooms. Interesting. Here, okay, the room is quite small. Probably was already rented as a B&B. Also, this house. The potential of this town is to invest and to just make a B&B. Okay, my friends. So after this, we are in the central part of the town. So basically, we just saw mainly properties in the central historical part of Bosa. Bosa and Bosa Marina, we didn't see much. Probably are more expensive. Anyway, we reached the amount of 75,000. I saw this property here, 3 rooms flat for 75,000. Okay, duplex. Now I see. Okay, it needs a work. So it needs of renovation. 3 rooms flat in via. Let me see. For example, these. Anyway, many properties, many interesting properties. In particular, again because the location is highly touristic. Okay, now after this, I'm gonna close the video and maybe I can make a video about Bosa if you're interested just about houses. because in this video we saw townhouses that is like yes, detached but not totally independent. Maybe I may focus in another video because the town itself is very, very interesting. Okay, my friend, I'll see you to my next video on the cheapest property in a town that we select, that I choose. But if you have recommendations for another town, for a place where you want me to investigate for the properties, let me know. Just write in the comments, in the comment section, and I'll see you to my next video. From Italy, a place to love. Bye.